Hello guys, and welcome back to another one of our videos where today we are going to be talking about a subject that is very close to our hearts, and that is clear acrylic vacuum chambers. We're doing an in-depth review with this brand new video that we're doing today. Alright, so the objectives of this presentation are to explain what acrylic vacuum chambers are, explain the advantages of acrylic vacuum chambers, of course the disadvantages of acrylic vacuum chambers, some cool facts on acrylic vacuum chambers, and how to specify and acquire an acrylic vacuum chamber. So really quick, let us tell you about us. We are Sanatron, and we are an engineering excellence company located in Salt Lake City, Utah. We've been in business since 2008, and we're experts in vacuum science and technology, custom fabrication, and robustly designed and quality engineered systems. And we develop, design, and manufacture vacuum systems, vacuum chambers, including laboratory equipment, leak testing systems, instrumentation, and you name it. And everything that we do is envisioned, designed, and made in the USA. And of course, we make acrylic vacuum chambers. Acrylic vacuum chambers are our core product. We have spent years researching, designing, building, reiterating. We have done a lot of cool things, and we have done a lot of cool upgrades. And at this point, the way that we cut and route our acrylic panels is actually proprietary. The way that we glue is proprietary. The way that we mix our glue and what epoxy we use is also proprietary. There's a lot of technology, research, and development that has gone into our acrylic vacuum chambers, and we are very, very happy and proud about our work that we have done and the acrylic vacuum chambers that we have developed. So before I forget, you guys please like this video and subscribe to our channel, and we're gonna keep churning out more and more videos for you, and so hopefully you guys can learn more about of course vacuum technology and vacuum chambers. What are acrylic vacuum chambers? So as the name implies, acrylic vacuum chambers are chambers that are built from the acrylic polymer, and like I mentioned before, when we were bragging and when we were proud of the work that we do for you guys, there's a lot of engineering and expertise that goes into an acrylic vacuum chamber. Which brings me to the next subject. Do not DIY an acrylic vacuum chamber. So you really have to know what you're doing. And I know a lot of you guys probably found us because you're looking to do it yourself, but please don't. There's a lot of work that goes into it. You have to know what you're doing. And let me tell you the things that can go wrong. Now these are failures from real professional machine shops, and also some of them are our competitors that have actually done this. The problem is, you see, I don't understand why people try to do this, why they try to act and like they know what they're doing, where they could have simply just given us a call and we would have helped them out what to do. So here's the first failure. So we received a call from one of our prospective clients, and their chamber was essentially crazed all over the place. Wherever the glue was, it was crazed. And this is called crazing, and those are micro fractures. And these happen when your surface is not properly prepared for gluing. So there's a lot of preparation and know-how that goes into gluing and bonding acrylic, and if you don't know what you're doing, you will develop this crazing. So that's one of the failures. Another one of the failures is cracking, and this is actually a design failure. So where the acrylic vacuum chamber was clearly built from material that was too thin, and this machine shop just didn't do their due diligence, and they really didn't know what they were doing. And again, I'm not pointing any fingers, but when these type of pictures, when our prospective customers, they send us these type of pictures, and we see it, it just makes our blood boil, because we're passionate about this, we're passionate about this work, and then when people just throw stuff together and they just wing it, and then this type of thing happens, it just makes us angry. So this was a design failure as a result of cracking. And here's another one. This was a shear failure, and this was done for a large customer, a very, very famous customer. Again, one of the prospective customers. They gave us a call, and the engineer, she was telling us the story. She said, the first guys that did it, they built it, and the chamber was operated for a couple of weeks, and then this started happening, and these are like little micro bubbles, micro shears. And so she called them and she said, guys, your chamber is failing, and we're afraid that this is gonna end up in a catastrophic failure, because we're applying a lot of vacuum here, and we're doing a lot of cycle times, and like a lot of cycles. And they kind of just try to get out of it. They try to blame it on them. And again, when I heard the story, we were really mad. Again, it always makes us glad that they finally came to us. But this was a glue failure, meaning that the way that they bonded and the way that they put the walls together, the way that they designed the walls, the way that the walls interlock, it actually sheared the glue, because they just didn't do it right, because vacuum applied. So the vacuum force sheared off the glue. And this would have resulted in not a catastrophic failure, because luckily acrylic does not fail catastrophically, but this would have resulted in some serious leaks. And so we built them a chamber. They were really happy with it. And this was a couple of years ago, probably beginning of 2018. It's about August of 2019, so almost 2 years ago, and they're really happy with the chamber that we built for them as a replacement. So once again, don't try to do it yourself, because if you try to do it yourself, and especially if you are a professional machine shop, or if you're a competitor, just please don't do it. Please contact us, talk to us, ask us what questions you have, what design challenges or opportunities you're facing, and we're going to be happy to help you, because we're very passionate about acrylic vacuum chambers, and we've been there, we've done that, and we can guide you in the right direction. So in the future, I hope that our prospective customers are not gonna show us these images. So that is one of my goals. All right. Moving on, so uses of acrylic vacuum chambers. Why are acrylic vacuum chambers used over metallic vacuum chambers? So there's three reasons, of course. One is that acrylic is fully transparent, so you can see from any angle, any direction. You have a 360-degree view. It's fully transparent. The other one is it's cost effective. And the third one is versatile. It's highly customizable. It's versatile as in it's easily modified. It's easily customized. So those are the three main reasons why acrylic vacuum chambers are used. And we'll talk more about it. Let's move on and let's talk about the advantages of acrylic vacuum chambers. So the first advantage, we've talked about it already, is that A, it's clear acrylic, and it enables you full view of your chamber interior. B, it is robust. Acrylic is a very robust polymer, and we'll explain more about it. C, it is flexible and organic, meaning that it kind of molds and it's easier to actually integrate it into your assembly, into your turnkey system. D, it is very cost effective. E, it is highly customizable. It is also easily repairable, and it is very, very, very low maintenance. And of course, the last advantage is that it covers a wide range of vacuum applications, where a stainless steel or aluminum or metallic vacuum chamber would just be overkill. an acrylic vacuum chamber just covers that realm between a high vacuum and anything in the rough, medium, and low vacuum range. And we'll talk about A through H. We'll talk more in more detail about that. So A, of course, the advantage of acrylic is that it's clear, and it transmits up to 92% of all visible light versus 85%, which is glass. So it is actually more transparent and more clear than glass, of course. And of course, it makes it one of the clearest material known to man. Now keep in mind that ultraviolet, it is actually opaque to ultraviolet light, but there are things that you can do to actually make that happen as well. There is UVT acrylic, and we've done some work on that. There's also viewports that you can use to essentially use as windows that you install on the side of the acrylic vacuum chamber to transmit UV light. All right, so B, the second advantage is that acrylic is robust. It will withstand abuse from elements as well as repeated use much better than any other plastic. It will not yellow and craze and whatnot versus other polymer materials. So acrylic is a very good candidate when it comes to building vacuum chambers. And also kilo to kilo, or pound for pound here in North America, of course, acrylic is 2 times stronger than steel. And I've used matweb.com source, and you can see tensile strength of acrylic versus the density, and if you do the math here, it is twice as strong. So an acrylic vacuum chamber is going to be lighter than a stainless steel vacuum chamber. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, so flexible and organic, and this is something that may be confusing, but let me explain. Acrylic over time will mold around and it will bend, and it has a lot more give. There's a lot of plastic deformation that happens to acrylic that does not happen to stainless steel or metallic chambers, because metallic chambers will elastically deform. Acrylic will deform plastically because essentially it's a polymer. And what that means is that acrylic vacuum chambers can be used and integrated into turnkey systems. We had one customer or client, and they used our acrylic vacuum chambers to integrate it into their vacuum extrusion assembly. And luckily we had 3 perpendicular walls that we had to make sure that kind of come together without any leaks, and we were able to accomplish it because acrylic is flexible and organic, and it will conform and also kind of mold into your assemblies. So that's another advantage of acrylic. And over time it deforms so much where any leaks that this deformation caused initially will kind of go away and be ironed out. So that's another nice thing about acrylic. All right, so acrylic is also cost effective, meaning that it is a lot more economical and, like I said, cost effective. Dollar for dollar, if you're looking to get the same specifications as well as the same vacuum feed-throughs or customizations, acrylic is about 4 to 10 times less costly than metallic counterparts. And acrylic vacuum chambers will perform well even at vacuums of about 10 millitorr, 0.01 torr. So that's another advantage. Acrylic vacuum chambers are also highly customizable, meaning that you can install, and you can, since acrylic is easily machined, and it machines pretty well, to customize the acrylic vacuum chambers to run any electrical signal, power, current, voltage, sub-D connectors, micro-D, thermocouples, liquid feed-throughs, gas feed-throughs, USBs, Ethernet, serial ports, any physical actuators, any rotators, anything that you can imagine. And here's some example, how you can customize it. You can add a NW25 vacuum valve. You can have some digital vacuum gauge, dial vacuum gauge. On the other side of this chamber, you can have Ethernet ports. You can have an electrical plug, like a regular electrical plug. I mean, you can run a toaster in there if you wanted to, because you plug it in from this side, and from the inside you have a regular electrical plug, and then a multi-pin. You're only limited by your imagination, and you're only limited by not dreaming big enough, because acrylic is amazing. All right, moving on. Acrylic is also easily repairable, meaning that if you accidentally damage it, if you accidentally drill a hole, or if you accidentally something happens, where you have a crack, you have a damage to your acrylic, you can simply use super glue and just apply it there, or use like a acrylic piece, super glue it to whatever crack you have or any damage that's there, and the problem is solved. They're solved. The acrylic vacuum chamber is fixed. Whereas if you had, let's say, an aluminum vacuum chamber or a stainless steel vacuum chamber, you would have to, weld it. It would be a little bit more complex. Whereas acrylic, you can easily repair it, and anyone can do it. So that's another thing. You can easily repair it without much skill. All right, so acrylic vacuum chamber is also low maintenance, meaning that the only thing that's going to start going out on you, of course, and that's common on every vacuum chamber regardless, is of course the O-ring, and of course these rubber feet on these clamps. And those things, they're easily replaceable, but there is not much you need to do to keep your vacuum chamber running. You just set it and forget it, and that's pretty much it. Even if you have special feed throughs like wire, like thermocouple, like some multi-pins, there is not much you need to do to maintain it. So essentially, you can probably lube your O-ring with a little bit of vacuum grease, and you can we can provide some information down below in the comments below, but that's pretty much it. It's very, very low maintenance. And remember, I talked about a wide range of vacuum application. So since acrylic is fully transparent, cost effective, and highly performing vacuum chamber, you can reach vacuum levels of about 1% of 1 torr, or of course 10 micron. You can also simulate altitudes up to 250,000 feet, which is 45 miles or 72 kilometers. Acrylic vacuum chambers are used in applications and common applications such as quality control, package integrity testing, seal integrity testing, quality package integrity testing, or just quality control in your packages, bubble leak testing, altitude simulation, high pod discharge testing, electronic equipment testing, vacuum encapsulation, vacuum force decay testing, degassing applications, freeze drying, lyophilization, and yes, we have had customers, a biotech company that has used our vacuum chambers for freeze drying, believe it or not. Aerospace applications, absolutely. NASA, I mean, there's any aerospace company you can think of, they've been our customers, so we're very proud that NASA, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, I'm blanking on the names, but we have served every single aerospace company in the country, and also various manufacturing and packaging, genetic engineering, laboratory and research, automotive parts manufacturing, academic research, academia. We've had a lot of universities that use our chambers, and at this point I think there's probably not a single state in the US that does not have our acrylic vacuum chamber. Let's see, maybe Hawaii doesn't. Yeah, we were very close to actually, but they went a different route. I think they went with a metallic vacuum chamber, but I think Hawaii is the only state. So if you're from Hawaii watching it, University of Hawaii, please contact us. We're willing to give you a discount just to meet all 50 states, just so we can have our acrylic vacuum chambers at every university of each of the 50 states. And of course, scientific experiments and also industrial applications. So we have had you know, customers from industry such as Google, Denso, I mean, you name it, Edwards Life Science, they've all been our customers, and they have used our acrylic vacuum chambers or our acrylic, you know, boxes in one way or another. And we are very, very proud, and we're very, very happy that we're able to serve them and that they also, you know, use our products. And as of today, if you check on Google, we're, you know, highly rated. We have 5 out of 5 stars on Google if you Google us. All right, let's talk about disadvantages of acrylic vacuum chambers, because, you know, there's always a cost, there's always a catch, and of course acrylic vacuum chambers are not all encompassing. There's always disadvantages, and let's talk about them. So acrylic vacuum chambers, the first disadvantage, of course, when you use them in vacuum, is that there is outgassing and permeation, meaning that they're not intended to be used in high vacuum applications. We have had customers that have used our acrylic vacuum chambers, and again, don't quote me on this. This is something that we actually have heard. And remember that customer that had glue shear failure from, you know, the do-it-yourself slide where I try to discourage you guys. So the image all the way, let me show you, on the left, actually, where is it? The image all the way on the left, this guy, when we replaced this chamber for them, we were able to, we asked them, how are you guys doing? You know, how is it performing? And they said it's performing really well, and they were able to get to 10 to the -5 torr of vacuum. So with the new chamber that we built for them. So yes, acrylic can be used for higher vacuum systems, but you need a very powerful pump, and it's generally not intended to be used for high vacuum systems. So yes, it is possible. We like to discourage you guys not to use it. So 10 millitorr, 1 millitorr, that's usually the range, and so not intended to be used in high vacuum applications. The second disadvantage is that acrylic also operates in a narrow temperature range between -80, and you can probably go a little bit lower, but generally speaking, it's between -80 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. If you try to operate acrylic vacuum chambers above 40 degrees Celsius, what will happen for every 10 degrees of increase, when you go from 40 to 50, 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, for every 10 degrees Celsius, the acrylic will start to lose structural strength by a factor of 2. So by the time you get to about 100, 110 degrees Celsius, you're going to be able to start forming and deforming acrylic easily. So that's why it has a narrow temperature range. The third disadvantage of acrylic vacuum chambers is that they're susceptible to solvents, chemical thinners, alcohols. These all will actually start to craze and crack and attack the acrylic. So there are ways to clean acrylic vacuum chambers. One is to use #1 acrylic vacuum cleaner, and the second one is to just use soap water and not the antibacterial soap, because it has alcohol in it. And then of course, acrylic vacuum chambers are prone to electrostatic buildup, meaning that if you are doing any electrical component testing, what that means is that there may be some electrostatic buildup, and it may short your circuits and damage your specimen. But there's also non-ESD acrylic vacuum chambers that we can build for you. We've built some for one of our customer, so we can do that for you as well. And then acrylic is also strong but brittle. It can be damaged easier than metal, of course. If you take and if you drop your acrylic vacuum chamber, you may have damaged it. You know, let's say you drop it off the tabletop onto like a hard surface, you may have damaged it. Whereas, you know, if you drop a metallic vacuum chamber, it would have not been a problem. And, you know, lastly, may not be a problem for some, but acrylic will scratch easily. So that's something, you know, it you know, after a while, if you keep scratching it, it may not look as nice. So that's the last disadvantage of acrylic. All right, so let's move on to cool facts about acrylic vacuum chambers. There is the first cool fact about acrylic vacuum chambers is that there's so many cool things that you guys can do with it. And we customize and we build acrylic vacuum chambers day in and day out, and we customize it and we talk about a lot of cool facts on this channel. So just click on more videos and you can check out more cool facts about acrylic vacuum chambers. So that's number one. But here's one cool fact about acrylic vacuum chambers is that they can be pressurized. So if you're looking to pressurize your vacuum chamber, you can pressurize acrylic vacuum chambers up to 15 psi G of positive pressure. This means that it allows you for more applications, such as you are able to perform electronic submersion testing, where if you want to test your electronic equipment, whether it's water resistant to up to 10 meters, you can do it with acrylic vacuum chambers. So that's another cool fact about it. So you can pressurize it. And yes, guys, we do offer acrylic pressure and vacuum chambers on our website. So I will provide a link down below, and you know, hopefully you guys will click on it and check it out. Here's another cool fact about acrylic vacuum chambers is that our acrylic vacuum chambers are safe. All right, so this is a commonly asked questions where there's a lot of fear, and I don't know where this fear comes from. It's because again, when people were doing their own vacuum chambers, they did not design the walls to be, you know, thick enough to withstand the acrylic. They did not design the walls to be thick enough to withstand the vacuum forces. But our acrylic vacuum chambers made by Sanatron are able to withstand vacuum forces as a result of 15 psi of vacuum or pressure many times over. We design our vacuum chambers and pressure chambers with a pretty good factor of safety. We have calculated and experimentally confirmed this fact. So they are safe if you buy them from us, of course. And of course, another cool, useful life of acrylic vacuum chambers is that our acrylic vacuum chambers will last you for 1 million cycles, or about 10 years with proper care or more. If you take care of them, they're easy maintenance. You take care of them, they will last you for a long time. They will last you for 1 million cycles or more, because we have put in a lot of work, a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of research, a lot of development into our chambers, and which is why they are robust, and which is why they will last you and they will serve you. And if they don't, make sure you contact us, and we are 100% standing behind our products, and we will support them. We will stand behind our products, and we will look you in the eye and say that we have built this for you and we're proud of our work. So those are the cool facts about acrylic vacuum chambers. All right, so how do you specify and purchase an acrylic vacuum chamber? So of course, buy them from us, Sanatron.com. Our acrylic vacuum chambers are our love, and we are very passionate about them, and we strive to build the best acrylic vacuum chambers that we can build. And so the main things that you want to look for when you are, you know, purchasing acrylic vacuum chambers, of course, is you look for vacuum rating. What is the vacuum rating in absolute you know, pressure? Now there's always confusion, because, you know, people they sometimes post in inches of mercury, sometimes they post in torr, sometimes they post in psi. Look for absolute pressure, because that's going to tell you a lot more than gauge pressure or gauge vacuum. So that's number one. Number two, look for internal dimensions. So some people, when they specify them, I'm not pointing any fingers, but they actually specify it based on outside dimensions, which means that let's say you specify a foot cube outside dimension, but then what you get is something that's 70% of that, because you have to account for the wall thickness and whatnot. So look for internal dimensions. And then also look, number 3 is look for what is included with the vacuum chamber. Make sure that valves are included, make sure that the vacuum gauge is included, any clamps, any hinges, because all of these, we include them already. It's all inclusive with our vacuum chambers, and our vacuum chambers are, they're fully assembled, set up, and ready to go. All you got to do is just add a vacuum pump to it. Some other places don't, and again, I'm not going to point any fingers, but it's something for you guys to look for. And then also, lastly, when you're looking to buy a vacuum chamber, or acrylic vacuum chamber for the matter, is look for service and resources. So are the people that are providing this chamber, are they providing you the service that you need, and are they providing you the resources? So to kind of toot our own horn, we have a 1-year safe buyback guarantee where you can use our vacuum chamber for 1 year, and then at the end of the year give us a call back and say, hey, look, come get your chamber, we don't want it, and we will buy the chamber back from you. Now of course there's some restrictions that apply, but what that means is that we stand 100% what we built. And then also another thing that you want to look for is resources. So are there resources provided on their website? Do they provide resources? Do they try to educate you on the vacuum chambers? Hint hint, like we are doing. And also, are they providing these resources for free, or do you have to pay for it? Do you have to sign up for service agreements? Because with us you don't. If you're willing to do the work and do the research, you can find anything you need to find on our website or our YouTube channel, and we answer any questions you may have. So that's something that you also want to look for when you're looking to buy an acrylic vacuum chamber. All right, and then let's move on to, do you guys have any questions, comments, feedback? I would really appreciate it if you guys have any questions that I didn't answer or didn't cover in this video. Make sure you guys post them down below, or go to sanatron.com and hit us up, give us a call, or email us. And if we receive a lot of questions, if we receive a lot of comments and feedback, we will make a part 2 video for you guys, because we want to make sure that you guys are well served, that we have answered any questions you may have, and that you guys are well educated when it comes to acrylic vacuum chambers. So, well, I think this is it. This was a long presentation, and thank you very much for sticking through and watching this whole video. I really appreciate it. So make sure you guys like this video, and please subscribe to our channel. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye bye.